story you told about, one day you come home, your dad comes up to you and says, Andrew, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And he's out, right? Yeah. In the context of what happens when there's a conflict and we all react in three different ways: fight, flight, freeze.
Yeah.
In that context, your dad is flight.
Yeah.
He runs off and says, I don't want to deal with it. I'm out of here. I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Okay. In America, a lot of that is happening right now, where it's a single parent household. Yeah. Kids are being raised without a mom and dad being there, and it's just one mom, mom trying to do both. And these boys, my mom couldn't tell me what to do once my parents got a divorce.
Yeah.
I'm a single mother raising me. I'm seeing my dad every other week. So it's not like he has direct influence to discipline me until I went into the military.
Yeah.
How much of that, like if you were to go back and think about, what if your dad didn't take the flight approach? What if your dad took the fight approach? What if your parents were together? Would it have made a difference in you? And how do you view, the idea of fathers being there with mom and dad together, family nucleus? Because a lot of times, the marriage no longer has, the what it once had. Kids are better off being raised with a mom and dad. How do you process that yourself? Because you became successful not being in that environment.
Correct.
So do you see this as well? It depends. There's exceptions to the rule. How do you process it?
I think it's a fantastic environment, and I think in an idealistic world, that's the way it would be. I think the reason it's not happening today is that I don't think many men actually benefit from marriages or relationships anymore. And people are always going to have to require some degree of incentive. I think that we've set up the world now in a way where men are seen as worker droids. They're expected to go work all day, come home, clean up as well, share the cleaning with the woman, not have no meal prepared for them, not have any authority over the household, and just be a worker droid and be a sad. And I don't think that many people understand that men are intrinsically wired to desire respect amongst our peers and in our environments. This is why CEOs work so hard, because they get respect in their company. This is why we all want so much money and fast cars and status and influence, because we're respected. Men desire respect like we desire oxygen. And if a man's coming home to a household where he doesn't feel any respect, he's not gonna wanna be there for very long. And I think the way you fix this is you need to understand that many men don't have an incentive to be in the house anymore. I think that it's actually would be quite easy for a woman. In fact, there's a couple women who even say this on YouTube. I can't remember their names, but it'd be quite easy for a woman to make a man really happy with super basic things. Just go up to your husband and say, hey, you know more about this. What do you think about this? That would make most men's world. And there's so many sexless marriages out there with men who work their ass off and they come home to a sexless marriage and kids who don't fucking even like them. If you were to just even ask him his question about some asinine bullshit, a lawnmower purchase, for example, he would feel so happy to feel like the man of the house. That's what men need. They need to feel like all this work I'm putting in, all this shit I'm going through, I'm respected for it. As soon as a man feels like he has no respect, that's the absolute end of a man's interest or a man's tolerance of a situation. I think that's the reason it's happening. I know a lot of men who completely love their wives. They love them with all their heart. They die for her. But he's just not respected in his house. He doesn't get to be the man of the house.
Is it on him or is it on her? Like, does he need to go earn it, or is it on her to provide it?
It's a combination of both. I think it's certainly on him to earn it, but also the matrix programming is counter to him. The matrix programming is trying to tell him that he shouldn't be allowed to be the man of the house, that he shouldn't be allowed to have any kind of authority in any regard. He shouldn't be allowed to be able to say what happens. The matrix programming is saying the absolute opposite all the time. And if that's getting into your woman and you don't have that much influence, and that's getting into all your children, you don't have that much influence, now you're coming home to a household where everyone just thinks you're the dude who should just fucking work. You're just a worker droid, you're the slave, you're the robot, and your feelings don't matter and your authority doesn't matter, and get fucked. And this is very conscious. If you watch any Netflix show, the mother is the smart one and the man is the bumbling idiot. Turn on a show, I dare you, turn on a family show. The mother is the one, hey, calm down, I'm smart. And the man's the like, oh, beer. Watch any of these shows.
They're trying, Guy, The Simpsons, Married with Children.
Any of it, all of it. They're reducing the man to just a bumbling idiot. And it's very hard, I think, for a lot of men to accept being in a position of constant disrespect. I'll tell you this now. If I had to choose a long-lasting marriage with a woman who loved me or a woman who truly respected me, I might choose respect over love. Even though they're the same thing for a woman, because she loves you, she respects you by default. But if I had to choose, I'd choose respect. I've been through too much and worked too hard and go through too much in day-to-day life to come home to my house and be having battles over asinine bullshit. I take care of you and I love you with all of my heart. I would die for you. If someone broke into this house, I would engage the invader and die. Please just cook dinner. Please. Like, what do you want from me? What more can I do for you? Like, and once they feel disrespected, this is another thing about the world that a lot of people don't understand. It's disrespect that will drive a man to the most heinous of crimes. It's disrespect that starts the school shooter bullshit. It's disrespect that makes men go to jail for life sentences. It's disrespect. When you truly disrespect a man in a public and permanent way, that's when they switch. That's why I'm so respectful in public. You don't know who the fuck you're talking to. He might be on his last fucking straw. And you just disrespected, hey, you're a fucking bitch anyway, you're skinny motherfucker, fuck you. You don't know, that might be the last time he heard it. I've had enough. You don't know. Disrespect is dangerous, right? And in a household where you're constantly disrespecting a man, he's gonna end up depressed and sad for even accepting it. Men just wanna feel respected. It's not that hard to do. If you truly, I say to any woman watching this, if you truly love your man, it would be so easy for you to just make him feel respected. It doesn't even take actions. You can do it with basic words. Ask his opinion on something, big him up once in a while. And because we're supposed to be supermen and we purport ourselves as supermen and we're stoic, but we talked earlier about how we still feel everything. So when you're a strong man, especially, they're like, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Be nice to the dude. You'd be surprised how far you get. But this is why I think most men walk out of marriages, because they're like, you know what? I'm not getting any respect here. I get more respect from this dickhead stripper, 18-year-old hoe, for throwing money at her than I do giving money to my own wife. Where am I being respected? Well, at least she's smiling at me. She ain't smiled at me in years.
If you enjoyed this video and you
want the truth about marriage, respect, and the dignity of women. Today, I want to address a harmful and misguided idea that has been spreading, particularly among young men. This idea, promoted by figures like Andrew Tate, suggests that marriage is a waste of time, that men should avoid commitment and instead seek out prostitutes because, according to him, women do not respect men. This perspective is not only damaging to relationships, but also goes against fundamental moral and spiritual principles. Let's explore why this is wrong and what Scripture says about it. 1. The value of marriage. Marriage is a sacred union designed by God. In Ephesians 5 verse 25, the Bible clearly states, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." This verse not only highlights the importance of love within marriage, but also sets a high standard for how men should treat their wives, with selflessness and devotion. Tate's perspective dismisses the sanctity of marriage and reduces relationships to mere transactions. However, marriage is much more than that. It is a partnership based on mutual respect, love, and commitment. Proverbs 18 verse 22 says, "He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord." Marriage is portrayed as a blessing, not a burden. 2. The dignity of women. Andrew Tate's view devalues women by reducing them to objects of pleasure rather than recognizing their inherent dignity and worth. Genesis 1 verse 27 tells us, "So God created mankind in his own image, in the image of God he created them, male and female he created them." This verse emphasizes that both men and women are made in the image of God, and therefore, both deserve respect and honor. By encouraging men to treat women as commodities, Tate's advice directly contradicts this divine truth. Ephesians 5 verses 28 to 29 reinforces this, stating, "In the same way husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church." This is a call for men to cherish and care for their wives, not to exploit or devalue them. 3. The consequences of seeking prostitutes. Proverbs 6 verse 32 warns, "But a man who commits adultery has no sense. Whoever does so destroys himself." Seeking out prostitutes or engaging in sexual immorality has serious spiritual, emotional, and physical consequences. It's not just about personal ruin, it also damages society by undermining the very fabric of family life. The act of seeking out prostitutes as a substitute for a committed relationship is not only disrespectful to women, but also destructive to one's own soul. 1 Corinthians 6 verse 18 further admonishes, "Flee from sexual immorality." All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. This verse highlights the deep personal harm that comes from sexual immorality, which includes the exploitation of women in prostitution. 4. Building respect in relationships. Respect in a relationship is not about domination or control. It is earned through love, understanding, and mutual support. Ephesians 5 verse 33 encourages, however, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. This respect is a two-way street, and it is cultivated through actions that demonstrate love and care. Tate's advice fails to recognize that true respect in a relationship comes from building a foundation of trust, love, and mutual understanding. It's not something that can be demanded or bought. It's something that is nurtured over time. As long as you walk in the ways of the Lord, and get your wife do the same, there is no way Tate's suggestion will be valid except if and only if the man started it all, like running after other women, etc. Of course, no woman will respect you for such behavior. Remember, no woman is proud of failing to build a family. They regret deep in their bones. In conclusion, the advice given by Andrew Tate to avoid marriage and seek out prostitutes is deeply flawed and harmful. It goes against the teachings of Scripture, which call for men to love, respect, and cherish women. Marriage is a divine institution, and women are to be honored and valued, not exploited. Let us reject these destructive ideas and instead embrace the true, respectful, and loving relationships that God intended for us. Thank you for watching and returning for more godly advices.